Hey everyone, and welcome to the StreamKick Podcast. I'm your host, Camper, founder and CEO of StreamKick. Tonight, I'm joined by the man who only sleeps on the cool side of his pillow, StreamKick co-founder, Rhino Paws.
That is a stupid intro, but thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Hey, you get what you get till you write your own. Rhino and I are joined tonight by the man who always opens the doors for his dates, YouTuber and former runway model, RoboKast.
It's glad to be here today.
How was your intro? Did you like that one better?
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you hit on the point that I was a former runway model, because it's good that people know that.
I wanted to give you some praise this week because I felt like I tried to bring you down a notch.
Yeah, dude, you made me cry last week. I don't appreciate that.
Thanks for not doing it on the show. And of course, what would an episode of the StreamKick Podcast be without the guy who considers the Cinnamon Challenge to be a recreational sport? StreamKick Community Manager, Ace.
Hey guys, glad to be here.
Glad to have you, man. So here we are, another week. This is probably going to be the best episode we've ever done. Not just because it's us, but because there's some pretty crazy shit going on this week. For anyone who's listening to this now, there's no way, if you're involved in this community in any capacity, you've missed this. But apparently this week, the Recording Industry Association of America, the RIAA, the unpronounceable acronym that it is, decided it was going to slap Twitch and all of its streamers directly in the mouth and start doing copyright claims against all their streams. Essentially, anybody who ever played any kind of music that is copyright protected, so pretty much every streamer ever, started getting copyright claims, and they were getting them against clips and VODs that were like a year or more older. So they're going like way, way, way back. And so you're listening to this and you're going, well, how in the hell are they doing this? How are they going years and years and years back? And who has the time to do this? Well, the answer is easy. In any industry where there's a shitty job and there's a lot of money to be made doing it, someone will do it. And there are companies, literally companies out there that work for industries like this, industry rights groups and stuff like the RIAA, that build technology that will just go back and do this automatically. So it's not necessarily a person doing it. It's actually some robots and some scripts that are going back and taking a look at this stuff. Pretty sophisticated, pretty cool stuff, unless you're the one that's getting copyright claimed. And where I think most of this is coming from is actually the other thing we wanted to talk about this week. And that's, there are so many new streamers on Twitch. The number has actually almost doubled since January, which is just nuts. So in January, you had almost 4 million active streamers. It's not like streamer accounts. These are active people actually streaming in some capacity during the month. In May, it was up over 7 million, 7.21 million to be exact.
Thank God for the coronavirus. Thank you.
Whoa, calm down.
Somebody at Twitch shares your sentiment because they're making more money, right? Like having this many people on the platform, they have to be making more money, right? And the crazy thing is, we've been talking about this for weeks. DJs, musicians, all the people that have just been shit on because they couldn't do their jobs are now going on Twitch and they're just like, well, I just do my job here and no one's going to shit on me here. And the Recording Industry of America is like, hold up. Just give us a couple months. We're going to figure out how to shit on you, and we're going to shit on you proper. And I think that's exactly what happened. Where do you think this is going to go? Twitch has terms that says, hey, if this happens to you, we can take you off the platform, but they can't enforce this, right? Because then they're going to say like, oh, cool, we got all these new streamers. Oh, by the way, you're all banned. Not to mention all the streamers they've had over the years. They're not going to ban them. Where do you guys see this going?
So does this just apply to clips or like live, or how does it work?
It's anything not live. So anything that's live. Any VODs, which are automatic, and any clips.
So
they're getting claims against all of it.
Can people still use music live and like with no issue? Like you don't see like people who are streaming live, just their streams getting shut down and then like, oh, sorry, it's been DMCA. Or is it just VODs only?
That's the shitty thing. It's VODs and clips only. But as soon as you're done streaming, actually, I think it might be while you're streaming. Twitch is creating a VOD, essentially recording your stream and making it available. So if you go tune into a live stream right now that's been live for, I don't know, 3 hours, you can go back and watch it.
Mm-hmm.
However, when you're done streaming, it becomes a VOD. And if you have people creating clips, which you have no control over, all those clips now exist, you have to go back and delete all that shit when your stream is done. Which not only is it a huge pain in the ass, but it defeats the whole purpose. Like clips are one of the best discovery tools that Twitch has ever made. Yeah. And now people are going back. I was looking back in our blog the other day where we had articles from streamers that we had written. I have to go through, all the clips are broken now. All the clip links are broken. All of them. People are just mass deleting every clip they've ever had back to the beginning of time.
Well, how long is a clip on Twitch? Is there a set time, or can you like set it?
60 seconds max. You can edit it to be any shorter than that.
Damn. So, well, first of all, my take on this, VODs are trash anyways. They're a waste of time. I don't really get the point of them. And unless you're Anomaly and you're trying to get Valorant streamers to watch, or viewers to watch your streams, what is the point of VODs, first of all? Because like the solution I see, first of all, is to just remove VODs altogether. Like I said, they're garbage. And then as for clips, that's a different story. Maybe like an automatic feature where, you know, it could say the songs that are being played in the background, like how Spotify or how Instagram does, where if you post a song in your story, it'll just say what it is.
Wait, what does that mean? It'll like
okay. There was an issue before with Instagram, people sharing songs that weren't supposed to be shared. So Instagram just partnered with Spotify and then added a feature where you can basically link a song to your story, and it'll show people what the song is, and like you can literally just click that and it'll take you right to Spotify where the song could be played. I've been all over the board here with what I'm saying, but I think first of all, if Twitch added that to the clips, some sort of feature like that, and then just, like I said, got rid of VODs altogether, that's really the only way this can go. I'm also an advocate for removing VODs because, like I said, not a fan of them. But
so I have some Twitch 101 questions. One, when Twitch automatically records the VOD, does that get posted automatically, or you as a streamer get to choose whether that gets linked or posted to your profile?
So it gets posted automatically, but depending on your partnership / affiliate / neither of the above status, it only lasts for so long. And you can go and just nuke it if you want to yourself.
Okay. And then question 2, clips. That's somebody else is making a clip of your content. So who's worried about that? If you made a clip, you should be concerned if it has copyrighted songs.
No, and that's the shitty thing. So for the longest time, Twitch has had this tool that it uses. What the hell is the name of it? I forget the name of it, but they've had this tool that they've used that would actually go in and scan VODs. It's called, where the hell is it? I have it here. Don't tell me. Audible Magic. So it's this company that Twitch partnered with called Audible Magic. And this was back in 2014. What it does is it goes and scans every VOD and it detects if there's any copyrighted music in there. And then it just mutes the VOD during those times that the song is playing. But it mutes the whole thing. It's not like it has like track layers, right? So what'll happen is and this goes back to Robo's point about like why VODs suck. If you go back and listen to pretty much any or watch any VOD on Twitch, it's just like that's like all it is. It's completely pointless to watch it because it's just hacked to pieces. The audio.
So is a clip linked to the VOD? Meaning, if somebody removes the VOD, does the clip go away?
No.
So clips are those are done by users. VODs are done automatically by Twitch. So like if you ever hear a streamer say what?
So this only applies to VODs. It doesn't apply to clips.
Well, I think it applies to anything that has copyrighted music in it.
That's the thing. They never went after clips before.
But this whole situation doesn't make any sense. First of all, I mentioned a couple weeks ago that I was surprised that Twitch streamers didn't get in trouble for using copyrighted music.
Yeah,
It's
so
like
it's
if you
your fault.
stream
Go ahead.
on
This is
I started
definitely your
this.
fault. You started this shit.
But
Jesus
Bezos
Christ.
was listening.
if I knew it,
Jesus.
He's a big listener. Big
I
listener. I
told you
told
guys.
you.
I emailed him to get him on the show, and then he listened, and he's like, "Damn, this RoboKast guy, he's spitting facts."
You fucking hashtagged him, and now look what
I
happened.
know. But anyways, like I said before, I was surprised that this didn't happen to begin with. If you stream on YouTube and you have more than 10 seconds of a copyrighted song, your live stream can give you a copyright strike on your channel. And obviously that works with videos too, but even if you're live streaming, it doesn't matter. They check for it as you stream.
I feel like every YouTuber is sitting in the corner right now looking at all the Twitchers in the other corner with this big shit-eating grin on their face going, about fucking time.
Yeah.
About fucking time it happened to you.
Like I ironically tried to use royalty-free ukulele music. You know, like the like white girl like influencer music, right? I tried to use that ironically,
I have no idea.
and
What
I got a
you're talking about.
copyright strike. They claimed my video because I used royalty-free ukulele music, dude.
Who is they though? Who's the they that claimed it?
Society.
Yeah, society is ukulele, exactly. Yeah, so anyway, go back to your point. The shitty thing is that they never went after clips before, and which is crazy because like the clips are awesome. Like this is the way. Like so many streamers have popped off because some random viewer has taken a clip of something that they did that was awesome and said, "Hey, I'm gonna share this," and then it blows up. It's on live stream fail or wherever it is that you put it, but it's going crazy and people love it. And now it's like, oh, we're gonna go after that and we're gonna tear that apart. It's just, I don't know.
Dude,
It's
these are like, for all intents and purposes, like these are the streamers' best, most significant moments that are clipped. And Twitch is just like, no, we're just gonna go back like 3-4 years and just like pretty much get rid of them all.
It's not Twitch though. It wasn't Twitch. It was the recording industry.
Oh yeah.
They're the ones that went after it. So to kind of wrap this piece up though, but like here's Twitch's solution. Number one, they're taking the clips down, right? Because they have to. They actually legally they do have to do that. That's a law they have to comply with. So they're doing the right thing there, at least in light of the law. Instead of going to bat for these streamers or putting protections in place for these streamers, they're also creating a bulk clip deleting tool, which I think is the saddest thing because now that's literally what's happening. There's like streamers who haven't streamed for a couple of days when this happened because they just spent their time just going back and just deleting all their old clips. And it is just a complete shit show. And it really, really sucks for people who've like amassed this, awesome archive of content over the years and to just have it completely nuked arbitrarily because you had fucking Kanye playing in the background,
Yeah, I mean, I feel like moving forwards, this is going to create a lot of policy changes because, like, on the YouTube side of things, again, all of these weird policies they came over time. Like, I'm sure they didn't start out really caring about, playing copyrighted music. They didn't start out caring about if content was made for kids or not. And as you see these laws and legal sides of things being passed, it creates policy changes on the platform. So like, for example, with the whole COPA thing, a bunch of content was being advertised to kids. Well, legally, you can't advertise to kids. You can't throw advertisements that are targeted towards kids to sell your product or whatever. I don't know how the legal side of it works. But
I'm pretty sure that's like 90% of the advertising industry is
whatever,
children.
yeah. But whatever the situation is, the way it was being done on YouTube was not okay. So YouTube got sued for like a shit ton of money. I don't remember how much it was. And because they got sued, they had the policy changes. So I think this is going to go like this. I think, first of all, Twitch is going to release a policy that is no copyrighted music on streams whatsoever. Because, like I said before, I'm genuinely surprised that they already allow it. And Twitch is going to want to save their ass. They're not going to want to get sued by Universal Music Group or all these other music agencies for allowing illegal distribution of their content. So I think to avoid that, no more copyrighted music on streams whatsoever. That's one way I could see this going. The other way is similar to what I said earlier with like Instagram, which would be because, you know, Twitch is owned by Amazon. So this is definitely a possible route. But I feel like they could also have some sort of partnership with a music streaming site, maybe Amazon Music. I always forget that's a thing. Maybe some sort of partnership with that where you can link your Amazon Music account to your Twitch account and have like a list of restricted copyrighted songs that you can play from. Because at that point, you're still supporting the artist by using their platform, if that makes sense. I think those are the only two ways this can go.
So you're saying like a Twitch playlist, like or like a playlist specifically on Twitch that you can go through and like see songs that aren't copyrighted and play from there, or just like a link to another platform?
Not necessarily. I think it'll be some sort of implementation with Amazon Music or whatever, Prime Music, to where you basically stream the song from Prime Music to your live stream. Because at that point, it still, I guess, would count as a stream for the artist. Like, oh, this guy streamed my song. And would also be through Amazon. So that could work. I don't know the technical side of it, but that's what I think.
Well, I think it's the same thing with the Recording Industry Association in general. Is they always miss the fucking boat. They always miss the boat. It's like as soon as like there's some kind of like technical change that facilitates a way that people like to enjoy and experience music, their first instinct is let's just fucking crush it. That's like everything, right? Like think about like file sharing. Granted, it was illegal, which this in theory is illegal as well. But how long did it take them before you could stream music or download music? How long did that take?
You mean legally or illegally?
Illegally. It's
Wait,
like
you're telling me LimeWire wasn't legal?
Listen, I'm not a lawyer, but anyway, anyone who used LimeWire paid their debt because they downloaded 100 viruses in the process. So I feel like we all earned that. But they're always on the wrong side of things, always. And their first instinct, their first reaction every time is let's just fucking kill it. Let's just fucking kill it. And that's never going to happen. It is never going to work that way. Now I understand what Twitch has to do because they're a platform. Platforms have certain protections. And in order to have those protections, they also have certain limitations. This happens to be one of those limitations. They absolutely must comply with these by law, right? Again, I'm not a lawyer, but I read things. So they're doing what they have to do. They're protecting themselves. No one can fault Twitch for what's happening here. However, to Ace's point and Robo's point, I do agree, though, that how they handle it from this point forward, the next steps and how they choose to make this better for their ecosystem, that's going to make the difference, right? That's going to be how it benefits Twitch, how it benefits whoever their partner is in this whole thing, and ultimately having some protections in place for content creators, which I think is ultimately the most important thing, because if they don't have that, I mean, think how many times, I don't know, maybe I'm asking the wrong audience here, but how many times have you guys watched a stream or a YouTube video or something and you've heard a song and you're like, damn, that song is pretty fucking rad. I wonder what song that is. And you go and find it. Most of the music discovery that I've done in probably the last 5 or 6 years has been because of Twitch, been because I've either listened to DJs or listened to other streams where someone will be playing a song. I'm like, damn, that's a catchy song. In chat, what song is this? Someone calls you an asshole or a noob or makes fun of you, and then eventually someone answers your
Sandstorm.
It's Darude exactly. Sandstorm. Every song is Darude Sandstorm.
Damn, I kind of missed that trend. We should bring back that. Yeah,
you can bring it back. Yeah. Here's what's interesting though. This has started to lead to, this kind of existed, but it wasn't really that big of a thing. But this is now basically building up this sub industry around royalty free and commercial common music creators. If you go on Reddit and you go on the Twitch subreddit just in the last week, so basically since this whole thing happened, there's probably a half dozen or more posts with like 1,000 or more upvotes each of people who are like, hey, here's my royalty free music library, or here's my music, I've just made it, commercial commons license, anyone wants to use it can use it, et cetera, et cetera. And people are going crazy for this stuff because they're like, I need some music to play in my videos, or I need some music to play in the background. Robo, kind of curious, since you do the YouTube thing, man, how do you handle music? Because in videos kind of suck without some audio accompaniment.
Yeah. First of all, I would like to kind of clarify something with what you said. This birthing a new copyright-free music industry, but that industry's been around forever because of YouTube.
Boosting it up, I mean, that's probably a better way to put it. It's kind of like
Maybe say bringing new people into it, a different audience that wasn't aware of the industry before.
there we go.
That's what I would say. But
I
anyway,
stand corrected.
yeah. So YouTube wise, for a while before I really knew how it all worked, I used something called no copyright sounds, which is basically the most generic COD montage music you can ever find. It's like you have definitely heard some of the songs if you look it up. That's just simply a YouTube channel that produces and publishes their own copyright free music that you can use in your own videos. That's what I
Like
started with.
built-in air horns and fucking Dorito crunching.
Yeah, it says audio jungle every 5 seconds. But that's what I did for a while. But eventually, there's only so many songs you can use from them. So now I actually have a subscription to a platform that has like thousands of songs. I pay like $249 a year, and I can use thousands of songs, sound effects, and all of that in my videos completely without worry.
Are they like good songs? Like, are they like
Oh,
songs
they're
that, like,
outstanding.
you know, like songs?
No, no. So they're not like mainstream public Spotify songs. They're all produced by like independent composers and people who do this specifically. I'm sure some of the songs are on Spotify because like some of them are really good, but it's not like mainstream. Like you're not going to find like artists that you know on there.
Yeah, and I think that's cool too, because that now is like, you know, helping support those communities too, where now you have a whole nother subset of content creators that now have this influx of new users. But I mean, I think I don't know, it's like $240 something or whatever for a year, and it's what, unlimited use?
Yeah, basically the way it works is as long as you publish the video while your subscription is active, you can use it. So like if I cancel my subscription and then use songs that I downloaded a year ago and try to publish them, that's not going to work because it was published after I canceled my subscription.
Got it. So basically all your stuff that's been published is protected.
Yeah, forever.
That's awesome. That's pretty smart. And I think to your point about, I think Ace, I think you were the one who asked about like, you know, is it like mainstream musicians and stuff? I think for a lot of, especially like on YouTube, probably a lot of the videos and stuff that people are making on there, that's kind of not the music you want, right? You kind of want something that's, you know, a little more unique.
Atmospheric.
You don't want the music to be like the focal point of the video, unless that's your content.
Not gonna play Minecraft with like Hotline Bling playing in the background.
You don't want Katy Perry to your Minecraft videos?
Honestly, I'd take Katy Perry in my Minecraft videos, but that's about
Katy Perry or her music.
No, I want Katy Perry in the video. I'm gonna play Minecraft with Katy Perry.
Okay,
we're good friends, just like me and Bezos.
Low poly Katy. Katy's a big listener too. So I have a theory about this, and I don't think this is entirely coincidental. But remember we talked about weeks ago the whole Travis Scott thing in Fortnite? You guys remember that, where they did like the virtual concert?
Unfortunately.
Yeah. You do? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So that was a big deal, and it was like, I don't know, like what, 20 something million people, some crazy number of people like tune in for this thing. So I'm listening to this podcast the other day, and they're talking about this company called Wave. You guys heard of Wave? They do virtual concerts.
I thought that was a traffic app.
That's Waze.
Waze. Yeah. Good. Nice plug. But it's called Wave. So they were originally a VR company, and no one cares about VR. So they pivoted and they got into this thing called essentially like virtual concerts. What they do is they take the artist, and they essentially do like motion capture on the artist, and then they create a virtual world with a virtual concert, and the artist is actually there, at least as I understand it. And they have this whole like motion capture thing set up, and the artist plays the music, and people buy tickets to do this virtual concert. And it's as crazy as that sounds, people are doing it. And what's even crazier about it is they're selling for these concerts. They're selling the same kind of shit that you would buy if you're going to a real concert. So you can buy like a VIP pass. You can buy like...
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm 100% serious. You can buy like virtual clothing for your person who's there, like virtual merchandise.
That is so stupid.
But it's working. And here's the thing. So this company just landed like a month ago $30 million in additional funding, right? It's a pretty young company. 30 million bucks, you can do some stuff with that, right? You can buy a whole bunch of those little motion capture light bulb things. I don't think it's entirely coincidental because this Wave company, one of the co-founders or one of the early investors, I think, is from like Pandora. I don't think it's entirely coincidental that this company is starting to take off because this whole like virtual, concert thing is going off because of COVID. And then all of a sudden the Recording Industry Association of America looks at Twitch and goes, hey, you guys did this Fortnite thing, this Travis Scott thing, and this whole virtual concert thing has really taken off. Wouldn't it be really unfortunate if something bad were to happen to everybody's clips on your platform that have any kind of music that falls under the RIAA
theory
domain?
Traffic app creating conspiracy theories to remove people's clips.
Call it what you want. I'm just saying these types of things aren't entirely coincidental.
Oh my gosh. I think it's the 5G towers.
It could be the 5G towers. It could be Illuminati. We don't know. That's why we're here. We're here purely to speculate. So anyway, I think there's some kind of connection there. And I don't know what's going to happen from that, but let's go back for a minute and talk a little bit about what led to this, which is the crazy growth on Twitch. So nearly doubling in viewers. I think it's important to point out the different directories that people have been getting into. The ones, the usual offenders, right? Just Chatting, League of Legends, Valorant, Fortnite, GTA 5, that type of stuff. I'm kind of curious though, like, I know this is really hard to answer, but I'm just curious what you guys think about this. Is like, how many of these people are just going to be gone when this is over? Like when people have to actually go back to work and get back out of their house and everything, like some portion of this will stay, right? But what does that do to the platform from that point on, right? You get this big surge in growth. We're starting to see these growing pains and these other issues that it's kind of highlighting. What does it fundamentally change the shape of the platform because you have this influx of people who maybe were just like completely new to live streaming? Or do you feel like, all these people will eventually like get weeded out because streaming is hard and people think it's easy and they're going to make a lot of money. They realize quickly that they're not. Ace, kind of curious on your thoughts, man. You're an avid Twitch watcher. What do you think is going to happen?
Dude, it's going to become saturated as hell, I think. I think it's going to become like so hard to make anything happen, and the limits that people are going to take to like try and grow their channels and try and like figure this out is going to be like absolutely positively not worth it at one point. And a bunch of people are just going to be like, no, this is stupid, fuck this, we're out. And then maybe like you said, it'll even out eventually, but there's definitely going to be a period of time where these people are just going to leave.
Don't you think that's kind of good though, in a way, like having that extra competition? Doesn't that like kind of force the people who are getting habitually shit on to like figure out a way to not get covered in shit?
Yeah, and the question that I have really is what I'll be interested to see is like, who will be the ones leaving? Will it be the ones that have been streaming for a while with absolutely no growth at all? Or will it be the ones who just came in recently who haven't had any growth? Or will it just deter people who are thinking about getting into it from getting in? Because even that will because at the rate you see Twitch growing, like it's like this crazy just like upward slope. Even that could drop off and change the dynamic of it all.
Those are all really insightful comments, Ace. I like those. Yeah.
Thank you. See, I have this graph in my head that I'm looking at, and just I'm kind of imagining it, and just thought.
By in his head, he means on his second monitor. There's a literal graph.
No, that's on my third.
The irony in all this, though, is that all these people come into the platform thinking like, oh, okay, I can make money doing this. I don't have a job or whatever the situation might be, right? I'm not judging, but they get on but then they go into the absolute worst directories they could possibly go into. Like Just Chatting, League, Valorant, Fortnite, GTA 5. Pretty much like the top 5 directories on Twitch perpetually, right? It almost never changes or just, very, very loosely rotates out. Like, you can't possibly expect to get anything from that. Viewership went from 1.3 million in January. So you already had roughly almost like 3.5, 4 to 1 ratio of streamers to viewers, to 2.3 million in May. So now you're got a little bit better. Yeah, it got a little bit better because viewership actually almost doubled. Yeah, so it worked out a little bit better, I guess, from a viewer to streamer standpoint. The problem is, though, is you still have streamers in concentrations in specific directories, so it's roughly proportionate. But and Robo, I'll kick this one over to you, man. Granted, it's roughly proportionate, but do you feel like at that kind of scale, it's still disproportionately affecting smaller streamers? Like, do you feel like having this many more streamers on there is really just going to make it shittier for the smaller streamers?
Wait, so you're telling me that there's a 4-to-1 streamer to viewer ratio? Or is it the other way around, like viewer to streamer ratio?
No. There's more streamers, active streamers at any given time than there are active viewers at any given time.
Seriously?
That's
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean that's what the data is telling me. Is my data
Did
wrong?
You get independent fact checkers?
Listen, we're a low budget show.
You don't have the right imaginary graph in front of you. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, what does your graph say?
Well, okay.
Let's just look at any graph and we'll just, whatever direction it's going, we'll go with that.
I have a pie graph pulled up. Anyways, yeah. So can you ask the question again? Because I don't remember what you said.
I'd love to, but I have to go back and remember what it was. No, basically my question is like having all these people coming in, having all these new streamers coming in. I mean, do you feel like this is going to disproportionately affect smaller streamers? Like, is this just going to make those who were here before and are now just like, it's just like adding more, just piling more on top of them, right? Doesn't it just push them further down in the directory?
Yeah, I could kind of see that. I would think so, because I kind of feel like the same thing has happened with YouTube. Back when I started in like 2014, 2015, YouTube was already huge, but it wasn't as oversaturated as it is today. Like there's not, there wasn't as many people who just like one day are like, oh, I'm going to make some content. And like, there was, I would almost say, more of a barrier of entry at the time because a lot of people didn't know what they were doing. And as YouTube has gotten more popular, I would definitely say that it's harder to grow. The thing about YouTube compared to Twitch, though, is that on YouTube, you can do what you want. Like you can carve out your own niche and that's how you really grow. But in Twitch, you're kind of limited to like what's popular. If you start playing like, I don't know, like an old Pac-Man game, you're not really going to attract that many viewers because people aren't watching Pac-Man games. Because you're so limited to specific games and specific categories, it's a lot harder to grow. So yeah, I would 100% agree with that.
Good point. Just to clarify, so the comparison was between average concurrent viewers, right, and active monthly broadcasters.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense then.
Yeah, so that's what the comparison is. There we go. So the data is correct. Probably didn't explain it properly, but that is there. And that is compliments of Twitch Tracker, by the way, which has some pretty nice data on there. But yeah, so and I definitely think this is tied into the first thing that we talked about with the whole music thing, because a ton of these people, as we've been talking about over the last few weeks, came in specifically to do music. You had the DJs and stuff, which we talked a lot about. But that had a lot to do with it, right? The other thing I wonder about on this too is like, is Twitch like, do these issues just kind of highlight that Twitch is just not ready for this kind of a pop? I mean, they're the biggest platform. If anyone was going to be ready, it would be them. But it seems like, I know that we've seen issues on our end just through our own platform with some connectivity with Twitch, and I don't know that that's directly correlated, but I know it's spiked since the whole COVID thing started. But then you have these issues and other things. So I'm just wondering, is like, do you think Twitch is ready for this? Do you think Twitch can get their shit together and figure this out? Ace, I'm kind of curious what you thought about that.
Yeah, I think it bounces back to kind of what we talked about last week or the week before about signing some of these bigger streamers. Actually, I kind of think like I wonder what the harm is of like having a weird ratio between streamers and viewers, and if like that's really an issue for Twitch in the long run. Because like worst comes to worst, like I said, like it's gonna just bounce back and kind of fix itself or correct itself. And otherwise, those are still people on their platform that are drawing, active users. But what I think is key is that they keep the viewer, or they keep the streamers that are like that they know for sure are bringing in all of these big viewers, and that they're signing some more streamers to stay on their platform that are gonna like for sure keep the viewership there.
Yeah. I think ultimately, if you take everything that we've talked about and you kind of condense it, I think that it's going to be a big influx. A ton of these people are going to be out once this thing is over, or whatever that looks like, and they're gonna move on and go back to normal life again, whatever that looks like. And then you're gonna have basically you're gonna have I hate to put it this way, but it's kind of true. Is that, you're gonna have the best stuff is gonna be left, right? You're just kind of trim the fat a little bit. You're going to have the best choice cuts left on the platform, and that's ultimately going to benefit the viewer. The viewer is going to have, more choices, which we all know how discovery is on these platforms, but they're going to have more choices. But ultimately, there's going to be more better content for them to choose from. And I think we're going to see, despite the directories that they're streaming in, I think we're going to see they're going to be more blow up streamers kind of coming out and having their moment to shine, given their opportunity, just purely by playing the numbers, which I think on the whole is good for the entire ecosystem.
Competition is good. Competition makes better results generally.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Let the animal spirits, as the economists say, let the animal spirits take over.
All these wild streamers. Yeah.
Switching gears, we're going to talk about something we haven't ever really covered on the show before, which is the Chinese streaming market. And I bring this up because it is, and I don't think a lot of people know this, it is one of the largest, if not the largest, streaming markets in the world. Obviously, there's a lot of limitations and rules. Twitch, for instance, is just banned in China. And if you're Chinese and you're using a Chinese ISP inside the inside the country, you can't get access to Twitch, can't get access to Facebook and a bunch of other things. That's probably
good. Facebook's a good thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody wants that.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a couple different streaming platforms in China. One of them called HUYA, and HUYA specializes in, I should say specializes. HUYA has done a lot around eSports. So talk about eSports for a minute. According to Newzoo, which is this like research group, I don't know what all the hell they do, but that's one of the things. Anyway, they do a lot of research on like streaming and eSports and stuff. China is the number one market for eSports right now, and will remain so probably indefinitely until whatever changes there. Revenue from that industry in China alone is $385 million this year. By the end of 2023, it's projecting it's going to be as high as $540 million. So what happened is Team Liquid, which is one of the most well-known and longest living esports orgs in the world, had signed a deal with HUYA a few years ago to get into their, basically to make their content available in the Chinese market, because otherwise you wouldn't have seen it unless you were like bootlegging it or pirating it or something like that. Anyway, they just extended their deal with HUYA. Obviously, this whole Chinese thing is working out really well. Kind of curious though, like everyone knows you don't go into China without paying a fee, right? There's some kind of penalty that you have to pay, usually through censorship or something else. And I just wonder, and Ace, maybe you have some experience with this because you've worked in the esports space for a while and everything. But what is that process like for an org to go from wherever they are into that international space? And I'd love to hear your thoughts on, multiply that times 5x, because now you're doing it in China and you have all these other pain in the ass rules and requirements that you have to abide by.
Yeah, and it's weird because there's no like just specific way or like how to do it, because there's so many different scenes and so many different games, and it's different for each one, and it depends on like what the league is, where the league is. Like the Overwatch League is in like Asia, Europe, a bunch of different places, and they have their own like franchised rules. But everything else is pretty much like a lot of the other leagues it's just like a clusterfuck of rules and shutdowns and just everything. And I mean, you kind of touched on like China's restrictions, but like there's been a whole bunch of stuff because their culture in general is very like, despite being, and it's funny because despite being like so for video games and so popular, um, they have like so much concern about video game addiction and like violence in games, and there's been all these stories about crackdowns on like game releases and game developments and games being like halted for 12 months or 13 months to be released. So like that's like the game side, but as far as esports goes, like I think this is a real opportunity. I'm not exactly sure like how you would go about expanding into China, but Liquid sure seems to have done a good job, um, like with this platform, um, and the fact that they're getting so much viewership, and like the I mean the what I read is that the the average unique viewers on this platform just surpassed the 100 million mark, like compared to Twitch a year or two ago hitting like 140 million. I mean, like it's not that far behind. So the opportunity is there, and for these companies who are like pioneering it and being the first there, that's gonna like show some great opportunity for them.
Yeah, and the one thing that, every time you talk about business development and growth, any kind of growth metrics in China, there's an asterisk every time, because it's a closed economy in a lot of ways, open in some ways, closed in a lot of ways. HUYA is partially government owned. It's also partially owned by Tencent, which is also partially government owned. So the government's got their hands in this, and then lo and behold, they're like, you know what? Twitch is banned. Oh, what do you know? We have 100 million users now. That's what happens when, going back to what we were saying before, competition is good. Yeah, and unless, you own the government, in which case competition is not good. So yeah, their numbers are huge. They're doing really awesome things, and I guess the Chinese market loves it. They do have another choice. It's called Do You, I think, is the name of the other
That is
big
a
one.
not great name.
HUYA and Do You.
HUYA and Doya.
Do you? If that's what
I
it's
just
called, they need to rename.
I just keep thinking of that company that makes the canned beans, Goya or whatever. That's
Oh
all I can
yeah,
think of.
Boya.
Oh, Boya for Goya. But Do You is also owned partially by Tencent, which again, I don't even understand how that works. Like whatever. It's just weird. But anyway, going back to Team Liquid, I mean, they've obviously found a formula that works here, so good for them. I don't know what they had to, what fragment of their soul they had to sell to do this, but whatever, it's working. Real quickly on these guys, because I think it's worth noting, they're one of the original esports orgs. Company was founded, or the organization I should say, was founded in 2000. They started as like a StarCraft clan, like a Battle.net clan, which is pretty cool. Anyone who ever played with like a small clan like that before, to see it turn into one of the premier esports orgs in the world is pretty amazing. They have about 60 pro players. They play in 14 different titles, and I think they have one really, really cool distinction. They've won the most prize money in history of any org. So they're just purely based on prize money, they're the winningest org, and I think that's because they won a couple invitationals or something like that. Won like some disgusting amount of money. But anyway, I think it's cool they're doing this. I think we're probably going to see more orgs want to do that, because the appetite in China is just, it's so like intense for esports, and they just want to get anything that they can. And you can't blame these orgs for wanting to get in there and get a cut of that while the getting's good. Anything you guys want to add to that?
Not on my end. I don't really know enough about it to contribute here.
That's why Ace is here.
Dude, 4.1 thousand hours streamed in that platform just in 2019 from Team Liquid. Like that, 4.1
thousand.
thousand
How
hours.
many days is that?
That's
a
a good
lot.
question.
That's a pretty good amount.
Peaked, one of their PUBG players peaked, and this is their most, I think, at 2.8 million viewers.
Good grief.
So like
on HUYA.
Yeah, and like compare that to like some of the biggest streamers on Twitch who don't peak at 2.8 million viewers. I mean, that's how many people are watching.
Wait. That's one dude who had 2.8 total, or like
PUBG. This is according to the Esports Observer. That says Team Liquid PUBG player Jord Biza van Gelder reached a peak of 2.8 million viewers in 2019 and gained almost 1 million followers. And he was voted by fans as the most popular foreign streamer on the platform.
So it's obviously working. They have a ton of monetization built in too. HUYA does, their platform. That's like one of their biggest things. Anyway, cool, fellas. That was a lot of fun. That actually pretty much wraps up the show for this week. So thank you, everybody, for dropping in. If you enjoy the StreamKick podcast, please consider leaving us a rating and review on the Apple Podcast app or anywhere that you can actually leave a podcast rating and review. I don't even know right now where you go and do that shit. I think half platforms don't even have it, but I know Apple has it. It really helps if you guys are listening to us there. Drop a review. Also, if there's a topic that you want us to cover or a guest that you would like to see on the StreamKick podcast, send us an email at podcast@streamkick.com and we will get right on it. That said, you can also find us on Twitter and Instagram @StreamKick. Find us on the web at streamkick.com. And Robo, where can people find your stuff?
You can find me on Twitter. I post once a month. Great tweets, great memes at RoboKast. And you could also find me on YouTube, same name, RoboKast.
And aren't you on Medium now?
I am on Medium. Wow, thanks for the shout out.
No problem.
Yeah, so I'm actually writing articles on Medium about kind of like some YouTuber related stuff, some advice to start your own channel, stuff like that. So if you want to follow me on there, my Medium name is Tanner Pappy, TANNERPAPY. Hopefully you could find some of the stuff on there pretty useful.
How you been finding Medium so far? You like it?
Oh, I love it, dude. It's so much better than trying to write on my own blog.
Yeah, they've built a really good tool. I know a lot of people that write on there and they really like it.
100%.
Awesome. And Ace, where can people find you if they want to watch you do the Cinnamon Challenge?
Yeah, Cinnamon Challenge pretty much every other day at Ace Aspires on Twitter. We also have our specific podcast social media pages now.
Of course, how could I forget about that?
I know. I was wondering if you were forgetting that, but at StreamKick Pod on Twitter and Instagram.
Thank you, sir. That is why you're the StreamKick community manager, managing communities in between full cups of cinnamon. All right, everybody. Thank you very much, and we will catch you next week. Have a good one.